Welcome back, guys. It is time for another faction preview video, and this time we're doing the Goblins. I really like this faction. They're very unique. They have amazing missile units. They have a great starting location far away from a lot of other factions, at least the capital is, and they're kind of scattered on all the different continents. So let's begin. First, we'll talk about the infantry units, and this is actually one of their weaknesses, especially with this unit, the Goblin Rabble. They are really bad. Never get them. If you can, it's not worth the money. They're not good. Nothing special about them. Just avoid them. There's a lot of other options that you can choose from. Then you have the Goblin Bruisers. They're okay. Like if you need a garrison unit to maintain your city public order, these guys are good for that. They're cheap enough, and yeah, they're okay. But when it comes to actually attacking enemy settlements, enemy armies, don't get these guys if possible. Then we have Goblin Infantry, which are actually not that bad, especially because they have this shield wall ability, and I've used this pretty effectively, so that kind of makes them a little bit better than you would expect. They also have quite a high number, and that also helps make up for their kind of low attack. So they're okay. If you're going to use these guys, definitely make sure you have the shield wall on. It makes a big difference. Then we have the Tinkerers. They look pretty cool. They got these robotic arms. They have a really high attack, and they also inspire nearby troops, boost their morale. And one thing I don't like about them is that you only get 62 of them. If you're going to have so few of them, why not increase their hit points as well? So I kind of didn't use them that much because of that. I don't think they were strong enough to warrant having so few of them. Not elite enough for that number decrease. And then next we have these guys that are pretty interesting, the Goblin Death Dealers. These are kind of like a rogue stealth unit. They can hide anywhere. They have armor penetration, really good stamina, pretty good attack, like above average attack. Defense is a bit low, but maybe that's because they're they can hide, and if you have to kind of use them at the right time when the enemy is weak. But pretty cool. I like how they look. Next, we're gonna look at the missile units. We have the sappers. They basically they just throw grenades. They're not that good because the range of their ranged attack is not that good, and they're pretty weak, pretty squishy. 11 defense, so they throw a few grenades, and then the enemy comes in and slaughters them. That's what usually happens. But they look pretty cool. They have these they have like dynamite on their backs. Next, we have a really good unit, maybe one of the best magic units in this mod, the Goblin Warlocks. Let's forget about the melee attack, that doesn't matter. Even the defense doesn't matter. The missile attack, I think it might be higher than this. Something about them, when I used them, they were very effective. Maybe because they have a long range missiles, I'm not sure. But every time I use these guys, they would do crazy high damage. Much higher than this 12 amount. I think part of it might be because there's 25 of them. So 25 of them all at the same time using a magic attack. But yeah, I'm surprised that it says only 12. It felt like they were doing, when I was using them, they seemed to be a lot more effective. Next, we have the Goblin Tail Gunners. These guys are really good because they're usually pretty cheap to recruit. You can recruit them within like one turn, but they're very effective. They have armor penetration. You get 150 of them. Pretty good. If you guys watch the campaign, you know how how effectively they can be used. Just line them up and then let the enemy come to you and shoot them down. And then we have the Goblin Artificers. I never knew how to pronounce it, but I always call them snipers. They're basically like these guys, but better. Longer range, more damage. These guys, like, these stats don't really show how effective they are. They're extremely good. You have a few of these guys in one army, and you will just completely slaughter the enemy. Extremely good. Recruit as many of these guys as you can if you want an easy campaign. Maybe the best unit that the Goblins have, actually. So next we have these guys that are really interesting looking. They're like a reference to the like Mad Max movies. I actually never used these guys because I wasn't sure how to recruit them. But just looking at the stats, they seem extremely good. They frighten the enemy, armor penetration, extremely high missile attack, high melee attack, melee defense is high. Pretty good. They seem really good, but I think they're kind of difficult to recruit, and that's why I never had a chance to use them. Then we have the Goblin Shredders. Really good. They have 5 hit points, which makes them extremely good. Armor penetration. Just really good. High attack, high defense. And also, they're classified as heavy infantry, which means you can use them during siege battles to go up ladders, use the towers, so that's really good as well. And then we have the Goblin's Bodyguard, which is actually kind of mediocre compared to some other factions' bodyguards. The Hobgoblin Bodyguard attacks, kind of good, but for a general's bodyguard unit, you would expect it to be higher. The only thing that I like about it is it has 3 hit points, so it makes them very durable. Then we have the Colossal what's it called? We have Warform, and yeah, it's classified as heavy cavalry, and yeah, it looks amazing. Extremely high attack, extremely high defense, 12 hit points. These guys, yeah, like these guys are almost unkillable. Very OP. Then we have the Goblin Rockets. These guys are kind of weird. They're extremely fast moving, which can be really useful to like flank the enemy and mess with them, but their melee attack is very low, and even their missile attack, whenever I would use them, maybe they didn't use the missile attack, there was some kind of issue with them. They weren't as good as you would expect. So I would actually recommend getting the Goblin Rockets, unless you will do some kind of funky, intricate, flanking maneuvers. And next we have the Trike Gang. These guys are pretty cool. Also pretty fast moving, and they pull out their handguns. They can harass the enemy and then flee. You can turn on skirmish mode. They're pretty good at doing that. Very good at harassing enemy movement. And then, so that's it for the base Goblin units. Next we'll be talking about the mercenary units that they can recruit in particular areas. They have the human bandits. They're terrible. I would really recommend against getting them. They also look really bad. Like, look at these helmets. It's just not aesthetic at all. These guys are really good. The hired Ogre Brutes. They have really good attack, good defense, and 4 hit points. Definitely get these guys. They're extremely durable, and they count as infantry, so they're like effective shock troops to climb up walls, go through gates, handle battering rams, all that kind of stuff. Then we have these guys, the hired troll ambushers. They're okay. Not the best archers, but they're alright. The pirate musketeers are surprisingly good. The couple of times that I used them, they managed to do a lot. Maybe because their missile attack is 14 and they have armor penetration. Very good if you're going against heavily armored units like human knights or human paladins. These guys, you get a few of these guys, you line them up, you're going to do a lot of damage. And then last but not least, or maybe it is least, we have the Bandit Raiders, and just like the Bandit Infantry, these guys are really bad, extremely low attack. Don't get these guys, it's not worth the money unless you're really desperate. And yeah, that's it for this video. Like always, if you liked it, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these faction preview videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.